Hey, I got something. What do you guys think about call only ads? I cannot get any volume with them, no matter what unless it's a nationwide campaign.
We don't do them very often. We have tended to get like really, the last time I remember we did it was for something that was a medical thing that was mostly older folks, and
Yeah.
they just freaking call it random. That's always been our problem with call only ads is no one reads.
Yeah.
If we get them to a landing page, they can at least read and say, oh, I'm not where I wanted to be.
And leave.
Call only ads, it just seems like they just press buttons at random.
I have ran these now in like two different like Atlanta geos, like DMA of Atlanta, like a huge freaking location.
Yeah.
And like you get 2 clicks a week in one call. Like I don't even understand it. It doesn't make any sense. And then if you run RSA ads and just go after mobile traffic, you're gonna get a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Like a ton of traffic.
Yeah, when we use them, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, but we used to use them a lot with like water damage, HVAC, like more emergency type stuff, and they work really well. Appliance repair, we were doing a lot more with that.
Yeah.
And they work really well. But like you said, the volume is always limited, and now you've got what we used to do is we used to have a separate call only campaign, and we would downbid mobile in the main campaign to push the traffic over, but you end up losing all your traffic. Sometimes, I mean, we wouldn't do 100%. We would do like 60% or something, just to basically favor the call only, and then have a higher bid. But the thing is that I think with the RSAs coming out, I think maybe Google is being more restrictive with what kind of ads they're going to show. Maybe they want to show RSAs more often now, just because of the fact that they're pushing them. So maybe they're just like deprioritizing call only ads.
They like right now. So that's what
maybe. I mean, that's what I'm going to guess and say.
I mean, that makes sense based on what I've seen, man. Because like I said, we have a few of them. I think it was an HVAC, and there's a water damage guy, and a huge geo, huge budget, and there's just no volume, not even impression wise. It's insane, and even getting super aggressive with bids, like $60 clicks, still nothing.
Really, that is strange. That is weird. So I mean, we haven't run into it in a while now. It's been a bit.
Yeah, but I think I'm done with them forever now. They just put a bad taste in my mouth. I'm just out. I'm done with them.
I'm done with you.
Breaking up.
Let's see here. Nick just messaged us.
Speaking of the call tracking thing, I've been talking to a lot of other buddies of mine, agency buddies. It seems like some of the call tracking stuff kind of gets over people's head a bit. Like just implementing, whether it's CallRail or whatever, just the offline conversion side of it, or using a import from clicks conversion. I know like CallRail will create the conversion for you, but other systems don't always do that. And so I see that, like, for example, people are just using like a static number on their landing pages, and they don't understand why that maybe doesn't go back to Google. Well, because there's no GCL ID they can associate with that user to send back. And also even call extensions. I mean, me personally, I don't know about you guys, but I have a dedicated call extension phone number, because something you alluded to, Mark, I found this out in like 2000, I don't know, maybe 16 or something through Google, is that when you use a Google forwarding number in your ads, they throttle how often it shows a forwarding number. Why? Because think about it. You have to have a number for every impression on the internet. That's not going to happen for every advertiser, right? That's just impossible, right? So what they tell you, and I can never get an actual number from them, but basically it's based on the ad group and how many clicks it gets, not impressions, but clicks it gets in a given 30-day period. So I don't know what the number was. So I could never press them for a number. Not that I would even trust the guy I talked to, but the point was, if you're not getting clicks in an ad group, you're not going to probably show a forwarding number, which means that as that call goes right to the business, you get no credit. You have no idea it happened. So ever since we learned that, we started buying our own call extension number.
Yeah, we always have a 4-number pool and at least a call extension number.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
You have to. It's the only way to properly track stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, I'm using Google forwarding, so they're taking care of it. Well, they're not taking care of it. You think they're taking care of it. Yeah, you can do a search for your brand or whatever keyword you have and look at your ad. Does it have a tracking number or not? But don't use your head ad groups. And this used to bite us in the butt a lot because we have really segmented campaigns. So like you guys are a lot more consolidated than we used to be back in those days. We would break out campaigns by match type. It was a whole thing, And so that means your ad groups get a lot less traffic because they're way more specific. So that problem was even bigger for us because by design, we wanted it that way. We wanted very segmented ad groups, and it ended up, until you learned it, you are like, man, it's not working, but they're getting calls. Like, well, we're not seeing them. What's happening?
It's interesting because we always thought that they just broke, not that they weren't serving them, which is even more messed up.
Mm.
That's wild. You would think that they would have something built in there that would automatically fix it, but my gosh, it's just not even that they're not serving it. So it's like, that's wild. That didn't even dawn on me, is that's what the issue was.
I'm not surprised at all.
Well, here's the other thing that people don't think about is, the Google Maps listings, right? Google Maps ads, right? So you can have your ad in the map pack either on the search results page or in the local finder when you hit more places. Well, you can have in your Google My Business, there's a spot for an ad extension there. So I use the same ad extension phone number, or maybe we might use a different one, but I generally just use the same one, because if you don't, when your ad shows as an ad in the maps, it's going to have your regular business phone number.
Yeah.
So here we go again with another place that you're driving traffic. Like, oh, my organic's doing great. Your ads suck. Okay, well, you're getting credit for stuff we're driving at, so now you can see. And so if you ever want to know how well like that's doing versus your actual call extension, that's where I think you get a dedicated phone number for just the Maps ad extension, right? Because now you can clearly tell where it came from.
Yeah.
I usually don't have to worry about that too much, but I wanted to share that because, again, almost nobody knows that it's there. And Google will show you a regular freaking business number and you get no idea. Now, if somebody were to click the button to call, then obviously that would get tracked, but not everybody does that on desktop. They'll just see the number and call on their phone. So,
Right.
yeah. So hopefully that'll help some people out there, because it seems like everybody I talk to.
Do either of you guys do anything with Google Guaranteed?
No. Talked about it, looked at it, never touched it.
I think that's interesting. I was telling Ed a couple weeks ago about how it seems like they want everything to be that eventually.
Yeah.
The
I've used it.
The issue is you throttle how much volume you can get out of it. So it's not going to quench the thirst of the customer.
Yeah.
If they want to spend a lot, you can only spend so much there on a monthly or weekly, daily basis. So there's always going to be some, not always, but there needs to be something else that they can put money towards.
Yeah.
As you know, we have a client that came back to us, was with us for a year, canceled to go full Google Guarantee because it was working well. Came back like a month later saying it went really well for 2 weeks and then basically dried up and
What niche was that?
Roofing.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
I had the same experience in real estate because I was running them for my old real estate partner, and it was doing great in the beginning, and it starts to wean out. And part of it's because if you start, because now you have to deal with the CRM, right? Because Google is going to say, oh, you're not marking them as like leads or using their CRM to kind of track things. I think that affects, I don't know for sure, but I think that affects how likely they are to give you more. And we would get all kinds of crap that we didn't do. It was not in our listing. So you could choose whether you do rentals. We didn't do rentals. But people they don't search for that all the time. They just search for a realtor in that area, but they want a rental. And so they call you, they bill you for the lead. You hear the call, they're asking for rentals. And like my whole partner was just being a nice guy trying to like direct them where to go. They'd still say, no, but you tried to help them. They want to bill us for it. I'm like, well, yeah, to be nice, but you can see clearly we don't go after rental. So after a while, it started to die down. And I mean, while it lasted, I think it was great, and CPL was pretty good. I wasn't complaining. But
it makes me happy to know that it's such a piece of trash. I'm glad.
I don't think it's a piece of trash, honestly. I don't. I just think real estate already is a tough one. Nick's not here to defend his turf, but I mean, you're dealing with sometimes some interesting characters, and
I'd imagine that it depends on the niche too, right? I mean,
yeah. I think LSA is great.
Heavy for a while there, though. They were really pushing it 2 or 3 years ago, and I expected that they were going to push everything that way, but I think they've run into some issues.
I think that, Mark, I think you're right. And I had like a panic thing a couple weeks ago about it. I'm like, this is the future where they're going. You can tell what they're trying to do. But then I'm looking at it. I'm like, they don't really know what they're doing yet, because they're giving the end user way too much credibility that they know how to work a CRM and they know how to do all this stuff. People are not nuanced. Even people we deal with every day, they don't even know what the hell's going on. They just want the phone calls to come in, and they'll take it from there. That's it.
They probably listen to their Google rep at Google.
Yeah,
that's probably what's happening. Yeah,
yeah. I mean that kind of makes sense, actually, Dustin, a lot.
Yeah, I think we know how the struggle is to get them to use a CRM. Now you're talking about some other disparate system that doesn't tie into what they use every day, and you want them to go in there just to mark your lead as whatever. You better integrate with stuff people use or something so it can talk to each other, but they don't, as far as I know, they don't do that. And I think when it comes to the future of Google, I think Performance Max is what they're pushing towards more than they are Google Guaranteed, or some balance, because I feel like that's where all you hear about is that. I mean, they're absorbing local and smart shopping campaigns into it.